Hi everyone! So this is my first time using Facebook Live. I have no idea how this is working, if it's even working. If it is, that's great. But what I wanted to show you today is what I used on my Everett 10K race on Sunday. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to show you are my shoes. These are Hoka Challenger ATR shoes. They have good lacing system. They are not the lace system where you just sink, pull, and it cinches. You still need to tie these laces, but I have not had a problem with them coming untied. I do double knot them, and that is okay with me. What I also love about these shoes is that they have a rocker, so that way you can go back and forth easily, transitioning, and you save your feet, your calves, your legs, your back. Your whole body is going to thank you. Hi, Jenny. This is so cool. Okay, so what I also like about the shoes is the width. I have had problems with the width of the shoe, especially in the toe box area, where the shoe just gets super narrow and it scrunches your feet and it makes your toes start to hurt. I got a black toe on my last half marathon and it was the most excruciating pain I have ever felt on my foot other than plantar fasciitis. So the other thing I like to do in my shoes is what is called super feet, and they are insoles. They have a black plastic to them, so it keeps your arch supported. These are the thinnest super feet available. You can see that they are quite thin. I have used them for about a month now, and I gotta say that the wear has been fantastic. I've not had to replace them yet, and that says a lot with only putting about 50 miles on them. My shoes have about 100 miles on them, and I have not seen too much wear on them, and even the sides are keeping up really well, which you can see there's really not a lot of wear on the sides, so that it's not giving away too quickly yet. And the lugs, which are working really good on trail runs, have been excellent. But going back to super feet, I know that super feet offers different lengths and widths and heights in the arches. This is the lowest arch type. It is also the thinnest, and I found that works best in the Hoka One One shoes for me personally. I tried the medium and it was just too thick in my shoes. It would make my toes start to hurt because they would be beating up against the top of the shoe. Needless to say, I almost got a bruised toe from it. So thankfully I found these and they work perfect. They just slide in and out. It's really seamless. Just squinch the toes a little bit, push it in, and down it goes. I didn't have to trim these personally, but I know if you do, it's really easy. I had to do in a different pair of shoes. So that takes care of these guys. I love them. I don't see myself switching anytime soon. In fact, I want to get another pair when they go on sale. Okay, so I want to talk about nutrition just for a second before I show you my hydration pack. So one of the things I use for nutrition are these Go macro bars. They have different flavors. I went on the website and got a super stinking good deal. I was able to try numerous flavors, I think all their flavors, for $30. I don't know how many of these guys you get. I forgot to count, but I want to say it's like 10 or 12. And so far I've been pleased with all the flavors. This one is peanut butter. So I'll be a little careful with this one just because peanuts and I sometimes don't get along. But what I love about these is that they're vegan, soy-free, and non-GMO. And most of the time they're also dairy-free. Gotta love that. And this one, for example, is Morning Harvest, and it has apples and walnuts. I have not been disappointed in a single one of these. Although I gotta say, I did see one that had bananas, and I'm a little hesitant because sometimes bananas and I don't get along. I get a little itchy. So I'll save that one on a rainy day when I know I'm not going anywhere afterward. But otherwise, these are a lifesaver. Just to give you an idea, this particular one, which is the protein replenishment macro bar, has 270 calories. And the dietary fiber is 2 grams, but the protein is 12 grams. I think that's a great place to start when you want to replenish yourself. Okay, So another thing I use are these, and this one's open because I used it on my race, but these are called Scratch, and they are energy replacements. Guys, the ingredients is so simple. The ingredients are sugar, tapioca syrup, grape juice concentrate, pectin, citric acid, fumaric acid, raspberry powder, sea salt, sodium citrate. I can see and read all the ingredients without any problems other than the fact that I'm stuttering. But nonetheless, each one of the pieces is about 15 calories and they're perfect. They fit in most pouches. I have not had a single problem with these. And what I do is when I start feeling low, I pop 1, 2, or 3, not all at the same time. I learned that mistake because they are a gummy. This is what they look like on the inside. So they're kind of like a sugar-coated gummy consistency. They're delicious. They're really good. This one is a raspberry flavor. I really like it. So far, I know they only make 2 flavors. If they make another one, this one is orange. It is also really good. Have not had a problem with these upsetting my stomach at all. I also gotta say, I used Scratch, same company, and this is kind of like Gatorade. It's a hydration mix. Guys, as much as I want to love this stuff, I don't know. I tried the orange the other day, thankfully not on my run, and maybe I'm just used to Gatorade, but the punch was not there. So I'm hoping this lemon and lime has more flavor to it, because the orange, it didn't taste like orange. It tasted like cardboard. I don't want to drink cardboard. The other one is called raspberry, so I'm really hoping that the flavor is more alive in these than the orange. Again, the ingredients are really simple. I'm not going to read them to you again. I was hoping to see the sugar content real quickly because I forgot. 20 grams, and you get 1 serving. So I think that is about the same as Gatorade. I could be mistaken. But nonetheless, I'm hoping to try these out really soon and update on if I like them or don't like them. Because if I don't like them, I'm back to square one on finding good hydration that's carryable. Okay, so this is my favorite go-to item that I found last summer. I have enjoyed it immensely. This is my hydration pack. It looks huge. It's not. It's pretty standard. There are smaller versions where they're not as wide, but they don't have as much water in the bladder for you to carry. So the bladder sits in here. By the way, this is from Osprey, and I believe it's Rev 6 or Rev 12. It is Rev 6 down here at the bottom. I love it. So here's the bladder. It holds 1.5 liters of water. It is very easy to fill. All you have to do is put the water in here. Make sure that you got a little cave action going in there, otherwise the water will pour out. And then also, I've made this mistake. Make sure this tag is not in the way of the screw, or else you lose all your water. And then you just screw it on and away you go. I have noticed with one thing though, is that once the water line gets about 0.25 liters, it doesn't suction up very well. So kind of think about if you're going to only want to take half a liter, fill it up between the 1 and the half, so that way you make sure you got what you need going on there. And it just sits in this deep reservoir part of the backpack here. It is large. You also get this little cubby here, which you can put your keys if you wanted to, hook them in there. I haven't used that pocket yet. What pocket I have used next is this pocket, and I put my coat in there, and there was plenty of room left. And I like that it also has this kind of alligator print right here. That way any kind of moisture is not going to be seeping through. That always is very helpful. The last thing I really like about this is right here. This is for your phone. You don't need to carry your phone in your hand anymore or your pockets. It just clips right in here. I would show you, but I'm using my phone, and You don't have to snap it because there's a snap down here, which I don't use because it just folds right in there. And then you also get this extra little pocket right here as well. There are so many pockets on this pack that I haven't even used them all. Another pocket that I used recently is right here on the side. It opens up to a pretty good size, about my hand, and I was able to put a Go macro bar in here, plus fold up my Scratch energy supplements, zip this up just a little bit, and voila. Once this is vertical, you're not going to lose these items, which is so great. Because that was a concern of mine. I was concerned that I would be losing all my nutrition without having it all the way zipped, but I didn't. Another feature that I really like is that this is metallic, or magnetic. So all you have to do is just make sure it's kind of synced up and it finds its way back home most of the time. I have not had a problem with it detaching while I am running. It is pretty strong. All you have to do is just bite down on this plastic guard and the water comes rushing into your mouth once you get it going through the hose. I haven't had much of a problem with it tasting like plastic until you get down to about that 0.25 liter, but other than that, it's been wonderful having my water with me. There are also two side pockets here, which I haven't really used yet, but I know as my runs in miles start to increase, I will start using those pockets more. And I get the feeling this is where you could store extra water bottles, like pre-made hydration packs, already good to go, or anything else that you might feel that you need to take with you. The last thing I want to show you guys is my more recent purchase as of a month ago. It's kind of like the Fitbit, but it's called the Garmin Forerunner 235. Guys, you gotta save for this. I mean, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but at the same time, this has been my go-to watch for the last month. And I gotta say, I'm impressed. I was really skeptical. I did a lot of research. I reached out to a lot of people. Nobody really could give me like, this is the watch you need, because everybody has different preferences. A lot of people like Suuntos, or Garmin's were a go-to watch as well. And I noticed a lot of people preferred Garmin over Suuntos because Suuntos are usually made for vertical run people and Garmin's are made for linear. So I went with Garmin and I just kind of got middle of the road. I didn't need the most expensive watch, but I didn't want something that didn't have all the features. So what this has on it is got your little running guy right here on the side, and then this is your go back button. Everything is also labeled on the watch itself, which unfortunately you're getting a reflective lighting, but that's okay. This is your bright, so it's kind of like if you're in a movie theater, you just click on that. And then this is your up and down arrow, just kind of like if you were also on using a regular watch as well. So if you click the running guy, it immediately brings up what activity you want to do. There's biking, indoor and out, and running, indoor and out as well. So if you want to do running, this is so weird doing it upside down. You click the guy again, and it brings up this display right away. Now, I have my GPS turned off to save the battery. I have done almost everything I can think of to save the battery so that it lasts me about a week. Otherwise, if you have the GPS on, I've heard the battery lasts only 3 or 4 days. So if you're not going to charge your phone at the end of every night, maybe consider turning off the GPS and GLONASS. I use GPS plus GLONASS to make sure that my runs are synced as the best as possible. So to get out of the screen, you just go back, and it takes you back to your clock interface. What I also love about the Garmin fitness watch is that it has a heart rate monitor, so you don't need to wear a chest strap. I didn't consider this a selling point, but at the same time, I was thrilled to not need a chest strap. I've never used a chest strap. I think they are getting better. I just didn't want something extra to wear that I could consider getting chafed from. So the fit is incredible. I've heard from other users that is what is a selling point for Garmin. It just seamlessly wraps around your wrist. Unlike some other brands like Suunto, for example, which are getting better, they have the GPS kind of like protruding out. And I've heard from a lot of reviewers that it kind of makes the watch uncomfortable because it doesn't sit flush with your wrist. So I was glad this sits very flush with my wrist. The last thing I want to show you guys on here is when you click down on the menu, it shows how many steps you've taken today. So far, I am just taking it easy. And it shows you your heart rate. You can also have it set up to sync notifications, which I have also turned off to save the battery as well. But it would sync, from what I understand, incoming texts, telephones, email I think is in here. I don't want to verify that because I haven't used it. The weather, as long as you are close to your phone, it also syncs as well. Oh, and going back to the weather, if you click on the Running Man, it shows you the weather by hour and it shows you the weather per day. So that's really cool. Get the back button here. Oops, one too many. So the great thing is that you don't need to go in order. You can go up or down and it takes you to the same menu. So here is my calendar, which is also synced to my phone. And you can see today's date, and today is a rest day. Well, hopefully you can see it. And there's the weather again. I gotta say, I did not like this watch in the beginning, and I was beginning to wonder if I had made a good purchase or not. I'm glad I stuck it out because I have really enjoyed what this watch has given me. It also comes with a mobile site, Garmin Connect, which you can also sync on your phone. But the great thing about it is I have found training plans for 5Ks, 10Ks. You can do intermediate, you can do advanced, you can do beginning. That's currently what I'm using for my training plan. It has been one of the best training plans that I have found yet. Back when Nike Plus first came out, I used Nike religiously because it was the go-to place to find tracking wearable items and also provided training plans. And it was good, but looking back on it, it was really intense. They wanted you to run 6 days a week, which is not a lot of rest time. These plans, you only run 3 days a week with lots of rest days in between, sometimes 1 or 2 days, depending on the plan. But I gotta say, I really have enjoyed this watch, and I've had it last for almost a week without charging it. I have not tested what happens when it gets down below 30%. Does the watch die at 20% or does it continue until 0%? Kind of like a cell phone. It may or may not work after 10%. I don't know. I'm going to have to test it out just to know what happens. Okay, so that wraps up this first Facebook Live 10K introduction of what I have found that so far works for me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for everybody that joined. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you again next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.